Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. My story, by Curious Infidelity, long, needs support. I've been a lurker on here a while and reading the community's comments and posts has really helped. I wanted to share my story. We met at a sports club when we were in our mid-20s. She was beautiful, exotic, intelligent and exciting. We clicked immediately, sharing the same interests and sense of humor. We were both young and naive but grew together, learned what each other needed and how to provide that. We had similar life goals, liked the same sort of holidays and properties. We could talk for hours and hours about anything. My friends and family loved her, hers loved me, everything seemed perfect. We moved in together in our late 20s and had an amazing destination wedding in our early 30s. As we headed towards our mid-30s we wanted to start a family. My wife came off the pill and we were looking at houses outside the city. That's when the affair started. Before diving into the details, I want to provide some background. After we got married my wife started to retrain as a therapist. It's a long and emotionally intensive endeavor. They push you into groups with other trainees and you are encouraged to be as open and vulnerable as possible. During this time my wife had started to lose touch with a lot of friends as they moved, had kids etc. She had also put on a fair bit of weight and this made her self-conscious. April 2020 was probably a low point in our relationship. My stressful job and COVID restrictions were making me unhappy. My wife was on furlough, paid leave, and sat around in sweats watching TV all day. Sex had gone from every other day to once a week. I decided to take action. I changed my job, got into running, made some new friends, removed all unhealthy food from the house and started counting calories. My weight was fine but I knew it would help my wife. To her credit she engaged with the fitness drive and for the first time in years started to lose weight. We managed to go on holiday and were happy, relaxed and having sex daily. We talked and joked constantly, were affectionate, supportive and encouraging. I thought the small blip was behind us. I couldn't have imagined the storm that was coming. Late 2020 my wife explained that she had always been a bit bi-curious and wanted to explore that side of herself. I was initially open to the idea but as we discussed it more I became very wary. She didn't just want to have ONS with a random girl, she wanted to have a relationship with a woman she'd met in her therapy group. I explained how this would be dangerous for our relationship but she seemed unusually stubborn. She then started attacking our relationship. I thought it was good but was keen to improve so we went into MC, which was very weird. We would discuss relationship issues but whenever we found solutions my wife would get angry and throw another problem out there. Looking back, I can tell that her mo was to justify the cheating and she had no interest in our relationship. 2 sessions in, she left our house to live with her parents for a week. While there, she called me up and told me that she'd had sex with the women, AP. I was furious and went to a live with a buddy for a few days. When I came back I told her that I could forgive but she had to go no contact with AP. We continued therapy but got nowhere. My wife refused to come home and said things like I'm not interested in your happiness right now. It soon emerged that she was still sleeping with AP. I got mad and asked for a divorce. Over the next few weeks my wife threw all the emotionally abusive tactics and lies she could to try and justify herself. I've done nothing wrong. We never said we were monogamous, this minor thing you did 6 years ago caused this, the relationship has been broken for years and would have dissolved anyway. Eventually I couldn't take it anymore and cut contact. After the split I was a wreck. I couldn't concentrate at work and was making mistakes. I would spend hours lying on the floor crying my eyes out. I couldn't believe what my life had become. I was looking forward to being a father and moving into a nice country house. Now I'm a 35-year single guy living with his parents. I can't believe how stupid I've been. There were so many warning signs. She even told me she was going to this girl's house when I knew there was chemistry. I suppose I just came from a place where I trusted her not to destroy our relationship. I didn't really see AP as a threat. She's weird and can't give my wife the life she wanted. Some of the things my wife said hurt so much. This is the person who I committed the rest of my life to, the relationship I valued above all others. She had always had my back, but now she's stabbing me in it. I wake up every day thinking of her. I spend hours each day blaming myself, or being angry at her, or reminiscing about all the wonderful times we've spent together. Most of all, I'm still in shock. I still can't believe it's happened. We were such a great couple and she's thrown it away. Her friends, family and therapist all warned her against continuing the affair. She could see the pain it was causing me, knew the children and family she'd always wanted would be lost, but she did it anyway. One morning in the future you will wake up and realize by mid-morning that you have not thought about her. The future you want is still available, but the face of your partner will be different. She lost you far more than you lost her, because all she has is a fantasy, which will crumble. Stick to the fitness, study something new and better yourself to the point that you realize that you are more than adequate. Edit, thanks for the award. We never said we were monogamous. Yes, you guys did, in your vows. Forsaking all others. It's hilariously ironic how serious cheaters are about monogamy when it comes to their partners. They don't see the hypocrisy at all either. That this relationship has been broken for years is part of the cheater's playbook. Of course it's news to the betrayed spouse because it's an after-the-fact attempt to justify the unjustifiable, their affair. That this relationship has been broken for years is part of the cheater's playbook. Of course it's news to the betrayed spouse because it's an after-the-fact attempt to justify the unjustifiable, their affair. Louder for the people in the back. As a therapist, I am firmly convinced people go into those fields because they are in dire need of their own services. At op, how did she keep the house? Or did you sell and split the proceeds? She could see the pain it was causing me, knew the children and family she'd always wanted would be lost, but she did it anyway. Affair fog. Late 2020 my wife explained that she had always been a bit bi-curious and wanted to explore that side of herself. Given what I've read on these boards, she was already exploring. I wish you well op. Life has definitely thrown you a curveball. I have no doubt however, you will pick yourself up and move forward. I am firmly convinced people go into those fields because they are in dire need of their own services. I am convinced of this. My ex-wife is a classic example of this. After years and years and years of incomplete counseling, apparently the counselors would not stick with her sort of bullshit, she decided to study counseling. Yep, I think people who need it go into that field. I think that nosy people go into that field and my ex ran off with a counselor. I still say that with a sigh of relief. Yeah, this rings true. The other people in her therapy group were all quite troubled and had non-standard views of the world. It seemed like they needed intense therapy themselves. As my ex got deeper into the training, most of her social time was spent with other trainee therapists and I believe this contributed significantly to her erratic behavior. Whether she was troubled before and I didn't know it, or just influenced by groupthink, I'm not sure. Regarding your question, we rented the flat. I stayed in it alone, she helped with bills, until it could be re-let. Yes, affair fog, totally. I didn't know about that before this forum but it perfectly describes things. Thanks for your comments and wishes. Your wife said this, quotes from your post. I'm not interested in your happiness right now. I've done nothing wrong. We never said we were monogamous. Well, on the upside of the equation, she isn't being subtle about anything at all. This is adultery in a nutshell here. She has told you everything you need to know about your prospects for staying married. To say it plainly, she doesn't want to be married. In the very best outcome of compromising with her, she wants to have her cake, for you to say yes honey. And for you to pay for things. So she can have more cake. As I say often, marriages don't work without a symbiosis of love, trust and respect. Read the quotes from your wife above. Do they come from a place of love, or from a place of selfishness? Does she respect you, or even the notion of marriage itself? What does marriage even mean to her anymore? Could you respect her again after this? Lastly, and maybe the worst part, do you seriously think you would ever trust her again? Really? I'm not going to suggest a course of action. You're getting good advice here, there's no need to pile on. I think you made the right choice, and I agree that I don't think this is a salvageable relationship. I do believe in reconciliation, by the way, but a reconciling partner must demonstrate virtues that are lacking here: humility, dedication for the work and remorse. She's not even remotely there. Just focus on yourself. You aren't the villain here. Don't let that thought get in your head. Lots of couples have problems. No couple is the perfect couple from fairy tales. What most couples with problems don't do is console themselves on the genitals of other partners for therapy. Your wife needs to own that. It was her conscious decision to inflict pain. Don't take my word for it, take hers. Read those quotes above again as a refresher. She did what she did, because she wanted to do it and it felt good to do it. That's all there is to it. I don't know you, but you seem at least honest and a decent person. I know you're hurting. You will live past this. Don't let her decisions ruin your life. Sending strength and resolution. Yes, you're right, she wasn't subtle, and while she did lie and hide things, I am thankful it wasn't for a long time. I was so deep in the marriage that I would have done anything to keep her, so the brutally harsh words were maybe needed to give me a wake-up call. She actually wanted to stay married, but when I wrapped my head around her words and actions, I was firm in wanting divorce, and to be fair, she didn't argue and so far hasn't tried to take me to the cleaners. Thanks for your support. I'm so sorry. This is near enough word for word what happened to me. Like scarily similar. Ex-wife got into therapy, although that drove her to getting into paganism, where she met the woman she would want to be in an open relationship with. I tried to make it work, set lots of ground rules as to what it could and couldn't be, but she broke them all immediately. It was a terrible time that almost pushed me to suicide. Nearly 2 years on though, even if it feels like yesterday, it does get better. I still have moments of anger, hurt and betrayal, but with a lot of hard work I've got my life back, at least going in the right direction. If you ever need to chat, then DM me. I read some of your story and it sounds terrible. I'm so sorry for you. I've seen this happen to others. Straight Spouse Network has a lot of posts, so know that we are not alone. While I'm sure it's all legit, her therapy did feel like a sort of cult. Seriously what is the URL for the Straight Spouse Network? Yeah, my ex ran off with one of her counselors in the end. https://www.straightspouse.org/. Thanks, and yes, she didn't handle this well. I told her this and she said there was no way to do this without hurting you. Well, don't do it first of all. Or if she just couldn't stay in with me, just tell me and leave. Don't cheat and put me through this nonsense. There was no way to do this without hurting you. Well, don't do it first of all. Oh man. The way they think. I once told my WS I couldn't believe she was capable of all her lies and deceit, and her answer was I had to lie and sneak around. It was the only way I could see him. Oh. Well, shit. Now that you put it that way, I see you had no other choice. It's just so selfish. I wonder whether wayward spouses ever cared about others, or if they just lose that ability when they see something new and shiny. Hi. Survived this myself. In my case, she ran off with one of her counselors. So I have read what people are saying here and want to raise something that you already might need to hear. The politically correct mob will want to praise her for being so brave and coming out. Apparently it is particularly brave because she is a woman. They will backhand you by saying you are homophobic if are upset and just further validate her cheating. These politically correct people just ignore the cheating, ignore your pain, imply that you are sick and then create more pain for you. These people are not in any way your friends, it is not your fault in any manner. She made the decisions and she decided to act upon them instead of doing the decent thing and breaking up first. She has used you solely for a meal ticket and a comfortable place to live. You have heard of no contact. Please add these people who congratulate her on coming out to the permanent North Carolina list. I speak from experience here. You do not need those people adding to your pain, particularly because they feel so self-righteous in their opinion. Oh yeah, they will ring you to discuss it when your actions upset her or she wants to return to your relationship. Full and permanent North Carolina is the way to go here. I'm sorry this also happened to you. My first IC after the breakup told me that lots of women on her course experimented with women. She didn't say if this was true for the men. It seems like the therapy/counseling makes you see things differently. Yeah, only my close friends know at the moment. I think if I meet someone who knows and gives the whole "they're so brave" nonsense to my face, I'll know that they're not a person I want to associate with. Lying and cheating is rarely a brave thing to do. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.